Okay, give me just one moment. Hmm. Let's see, sometimes it does it right away and sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. There we go. Just make sure the audio is good and then we will get started. Let's see, sometimes it does it right away and sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. Okay, looks like we are good to go. Alrighty, let me spin around a little bit here. Proper intro real quick. Alright, hello there travelers. I am Ursa the Literary Bear. We are here today with a bonus stream. We're finally getting the cadence down for when we're going to do bonus streams, when we're going to do MSQ streams, that kind of thing. Sundays, I think, are a good candidate for the potential bonus stream. I'm not going to schedule them, although I have started scheduling the MSQ streams. So now if you're watching the channel, you can see them in advance and what the general goal is going to be. We might not always hit the goal, but we're going to try to get close. But this bonus stream, as you might have been able to tell by the background of where I am right now, what I'm currently wearing, is going to be to progress our... Turn this not looking. Let's see. Summoner class. / Arcanist class. Mainly so that I can get the Scholar. And we're also going to take on the Marauder and the Rogue jobs. Both of those have been at level 30 for a hot minute now. And I would like to start progressing them onto their respective jobs. That way we can get them taken care of later. If we still have time, we just tear through those with like unimaginable speed and force. Then we will go ahead and do some bonus dungeons, because I still have a lot of those clogging up my inventory here. My journal, excuse me. And then maybe next weekend will probably be either the continuation of the jobs that we're about to unlock, or potentially the Hildebrand questline, which is quite long, but also very funny. So we'll see how that goes. And also whether or not my wife wants to do that with me. So I'm sure it'll take a while to queue. I see the creatures beyond the city walls pose you little threat. It is with great pleasure, then, that I formally recognize your initiation into the guild. From this day forth, you may proudly bear the title of Arcanist. I suggest you continue your forays into the wilderness, and keep the pages of your grimoire turning. There is no further teacher than the horse mistress of experience. When you feel you can command Carbuncle as easily as you might move your own limbs, return to me for further instruction. I will be waiting. Ah, Ursa, isn't it? Are you eating well? An empty stomach distracts the mind and leads to hurried judgment. I must often remind my Arcanists to take meals, so ensconced do they become in their studies. This reminds me of when you were in school. They'd be like, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That's what this really reminds me of right now. Speaking of such, have you been practicing your tactics with Carbuncle? I believe it's time to assess the improvement of your skills. As with your previous trial, I would have you defeat foes in Lower Denosia. 3 wild dodos and 3 tiny mandragoras, to be precise. Watch carefully the behavior of your opponents. Formulate an effective strategy and utilize your arcane entity to its fullest potential. I expect you back in time before dinner. She really does have that kind of matronly vibe going on. I like how the pirate town is essentially host to Hogwarts. I know it's not technically what this is, but it's kind of funny when you think about it in that context. Although when we took the quest, we did hear from that woman there, her name is Slybergrim, that the Admiral essentially fostered this guild because she saw great potential in maintaining this. Obviously, sailors need scribes, pirates included, but also just general sailing requires a lot of mathematics. I don't think people really appreciate that pirates were probably actually quite good at math, because otherwise they would have never gotten anywhere they wanted to go. Mathematics, less now, still a little bit now, but really, like, ruled that era of time and transport. Because if you weren't able to chart your movements, you were going to be very much adrift at sea. and charting your movements required a lot of math. Some other things too, like navigation through the stars and things like that. But even that required a lot of math because you had to know where you were in relation to the stars. So yeah, typically ships' captains were among the more, I would assume, intelligent people of their time. And then on top of that, if you were going to run any type of naval operation, you would potentially be doing some sort of mercantilism as well, whether it was pirating, which would require the selling of stolen goods, or privateering, which would require the capturing of pirate stolen goods, or any number of other nautical trades, all of which would require an absolutely obscene amount of math. So I think the whole, I don't know, trope of pirates, like, where's all the rum gone being stupid, is probably not as accurate as people might expect. I actually think the Black Flag games did a pretty good job of kind of illustrating that pirates were just sort of crazy, but not necessarily stupid. Maybe I'm going to have a good analogy for that. Welcome back, Ursa. Here's your coordination with Carbuncle progressing at a satisfactory pace. Shall we test your growing acumen with a more practical examination? Our work at Melvin's Gate requires us to inspect and record the contents of incoming cargo. To simulate such a task, I have had several crates transported to a cliff south of Zephyr Gates. I want you to examine those crates, then return the inspected cargo here to me. You would be surprised at the depths to which some merchants will sink to deter our customs agents from performing thorough investigations. False bottoms, rotting foodstuffs, flesh-eating Vilekin. I suggest you be prepared for any eventuality. They are also essentially the TSA. You notice this. So they're essentially, like, checking these people as they enter Limsa. Very funny. But yeah, so one of the things that I came to realize over the years, I used to work at a car dealership. And I worked in the back with mechanics. I was not a mechanic myself. You don't want me touching cars, I promise. Very bad idea. But I came to realize that mechanics were essentially engineers with anger issues. Very smart, just not a lot of impulse control. Not true for everybody. Some people are just engineers that happen to really, really appreciate cars. But anyway, here we go. Well, that was easy. I was expecting, like, more things to pop out. I quite like her. Her story is very tragic, though. I am not a threat. Pray ignore my presence for the present and allow me to a moment to cogiate. Cogiate? Probably cogiate. Or would be something similar to cognitive. Oh. The reaction to my sudden appearance was within expected parameters, but I must admit I did not expect so proficient a performance against the enemy set against you. Yet effective though your tactics were, I spied much room for improvement. As I watched you battle, the wheels of my mind whirled into motion, as they are wont to do, inventing other possible strategies you might have employed. Let's see. Taking into account your current level of ability, factoring the athetic constant, multiplying by the number of opponents, then applying your tactics to other potential combat scenarios. Oh dear, my calculations indicate failure upon encountering a threat level 9,785. That's over 9,000! Sorry. Future me and edit, put up a meme. Well, let's see, we have to, what we can do about that. Though the opportune window to do so has passed, I would nevertheless introduce myself. I am Kalea, a Melvin's Gate assessor. Acting Guildmaster Thybagrim elected me to oversee your training and provide any necessary guidance and instruction in the field of Arcanima. What I have observed thus far, you have an admirable grasp of the fundamentals. I do, however, wish to confirm one small detail. Regarding your choice of arcane geometries, what factor most influences your actions during battle? Hmm. I would say this would be me, because this character is more of an analog to me than my previous incarnation pre-Fantasia. Uh, seems to suit me. Aha, just as I predicted. And now I have the final element needed to perform another calculation. Probability of becoming an Arcanist of note is 90%, give or take a half%. Yes, it is certainly quite high. After all, I only know one other practitioner who responded to my question in the same manner. It was the man who bestowed upon me this grimoire, the Master himself. While our inscrutable leader is, as I'm sure you've heard, on an indefinite leave of absence, he did leave us with his most notorious saying to date. Strategy is a tool used to manipulate one's situation into desired reality. No matter how gifted you and I might be, however, the instantaneous manipulation of reality that might cause us to suddenly become mighty arcanists is beyond our present abilities. Discipline and experience is the finest strategy in this case. I suggest you continue to focus on refining your aptitude with Carbuncle. Mastery with the arcane entity will improve your success as a wielder of Arcanima. Here ends your lesson for today. Pray return directly to the guild. Believe Mr. Cybergrim is awaiting you in some inspected cargo. What of myself? I'm off to the fields, of course. The tactics I reasoned out earlier must be attempted in real-life scenarios. Theory is all well and good, but there is no substitute for actual combat. We will meet again soon. Zoom. So she's a rare case, because unless I'm much mistaken, where they just lowered her height and changed up her hair a little bit, I think she might be like a teenager Makote. Usually, if you notice, there's only like 1 or 2 children character models. There's like 1 Makote, 2 or 3 hero ones, and maybe like 1 Ra one in the entire game. And they just changed the hair up a little bit. I don't think there's a single Rogadin child. I have yet to ever see a Rogadin child in my entire experience playing the game. Weespoon? Rogadin children? No. No Rogadin children, no Lalafellin children, no Vieira children, no Ellison children. No, there's a couple of Ellison children. But anyway, children in general, there are not a whole lot of like child models in this game. Which I'm sure is just a resource limitation, right? And it's a fairly dark world. The less children you can have in it, the better, probably. But she looks more like an adolescent Makote. They could just be doing some tricks to that, but it'd be interesting if they made like a specific adolescent Makote model, like just for her specifically. Sir, have you returned to the cargo? Yes, everything seems to be in order. Relatively cleared of blood and other gore. That can be something of a problem in our profession, you understand. I also had word from Kailea regarding your performance. She seemed eager to continue your training. An odd lass, I'll admit, but the guild can boast no finer mind for tactics. You would do well to heed the instruction she offers, particularly that which touches the diligent approach to our art. Did you perhaps notice the battered tome the Kailea carries? The Initiate's grimoire has served her from the day she entered the guild. She has her reasons, but it's admittedly strange to keep it all the way to her present position as Foreseer. I fear such an intense focus on Arcanima has led her to overlook other important aspects of life. As our Master Strategist guides your Arcanist training, I hope you might return the favor and help to broaden her own perspective somewhat. But enough of such matters for the moment. You have done well this day, Ursa. Continue your practice with Carbuncle as Kailea has bid. I'll be here when your time comes for your next lesson. Question is, I can be better than what I got. What's my current level? 22, so quite a while before I get a better tome. Yes, the time for your next lesson is upon us. You are keeping well, I trust? Taking the occasional brisk walk? One cannot form sound thoughts if one's mind fails to maintain a sound body. Now, assuming you have been following Kailea's instructions, you should be ready to face the most dangerous of threats found in Western Enosia. I speak of roselings and wild jackals, and yes, I would have you vanquish 3 of each. 'Tis the perfect sample size. The first acts as a preliminary test case, the second to test your hypothesis, and the third to perfect the tactics you've devised. Speaking of which, I trust your strategy will consist of more than simply flinging ruin over and over again. You are not the novice you once were, and your skills in the field ought to reflect that. You find yourself wanting for other approaches. Consider an assault with ruin in tandem to attacks with your carbuncle. Well timed appropriately, you can deal a crippling blow to your opponents. Listen, I'm gonna need you not to be peeking over my shoulder with my key strategy of ruin, 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 okay? It's very effective. And I feel a little bit annoyed that you're, doubting me here, headmistress. Let's see here. She said middle of Nocia, yeah? Be ale ports. Probably Swift Perch, though. Right here is perfect. Grumbling's already here. Alright, let's do this thing. And he's dead. There you go, Thybogrim. I'll do a Ruin and then immediately a Fester. That'll kill him even faster. Oh, we are missing a friend right now. Where is Apostrophe? There we go. Every time I summon Apostrophe, by the way, I'm delighted again by the name. I really love that name. Tooting my own horn a little bit, I guess, but I'm a big fan. Okay, Ruby Ruin should be able to take care of that issue. Whatever it's called right now. Glittering Ruby, excuse me. Okay, return to the Arcanist Guild. Quick and easy. I do quite like the summoner path, I will say. I'm a weird one, and I know it's just one of those things where, like, yeah, what you know. But I kind of miss the old summoner. I quite like parts of the new summoner, but it's very, like, structured in a way. I liked that summoner was a little bit more freeform previously, and that the summons did effectively different things, but, you know, I get it. They are addressing it, so very excited to see what happens. Welcome back, Ursa. How did it feel to conquer such ferocious foes? Let us ride that wave of triumph into an even more demanding and dangerous challenge. Your next training exercise will have you accompanying Forcia Kailea on one of her inspections. This experience will afford you the opportunity to witness firsthand the practical application of Arcanima. Pray do not tarry, Ursa. Kailea awaits you on the floor below with further details. The first time I played this game, I remember trying to unlock this, like, class, and getting so lost because I didn't know that she was below, and I wasn't reading the dialogue apparently as carefully as I needed to. So I just gave up on this. I was like, well, I guess I'll never be a summoner now because I can't find her. She's underneath the staircase. Attend my appearance as expected. Shall we proceed directly to the job at hand? I have been tasked with examining the wares of a goblin peddler caravan run by the Boylestocks family. Our agents suspect that these beastmen merchants are dealing forbidden goods. As such, I have calculated that announcing an inspection has a 60% chance of inviting physical violence. I have prepared a strategy to respond to this possible shift in hostilities. But there is an important precondition you should be made aware of before we discuss the finer points of my plan. Though I am considered gifted in the formation of tactics, I lack the reflexes of coordination necessary to employ many of these same strategies on the field of battle. Pray keep this factor in mind and adjust your perceptions accordingly. Now, should the goblins offer battle, you should execute Combat Pattern 1345, otherwise known as Stratagem Focus Fire. You and your carbuncle will concentrate your attacks on a single foe, and one by one, the enemy will wither under the combined onslaught. Probability of victory, 95%. Reports place the peddlers in the vicinity of the cookpit, middle of Nocia. I will depart immediately to assess the situation. Seek me out once you arrive. Up them stairs. Okay. Let's go kill us some goblins. I like them better than kobolds, but not by much. I remember, I guess it's a little bit spoilers, but I'll be cutting this out of the recording anyway. I remember when you first get to Shadowbringers, and I was so excited and enchanted by all the new areas, and like the dark tone, and then the very first area, you've got like their version of kobolds, and I was like, motherfucker! I hate kobolds. Oh. I am Forcia Kailea of Melvin's Gate. You are to cease all transactions and surrender your goods for inspection. Nasty sneaky peekers! Gobby spit up lander nosy eyes on stabby iron! A particularly aggressive response. Very well, Ursa. Remember what we discussed. Sadly, they have removed my ability to just blow them away because they desynced me to 14. But we're still wearing very good gear, so I don't anticipate this being overly challenging. Oh, I don't have catalyze. Cast this spell for 60 years. Okay, Goblin, pick a room. You seem to be cast. I can pick you up first. Nicely done. Adaptation, improvisation. I might have been observing our beloved Guildmaster himself in action. This was the perfect example of how the strategy for a given task should be tailored to the abilities of the assessor. In other words, before you begin formulating your tactics, it is necessary to fully understand your own strengths and weaknesses. On that note, there is another question I would ask you. When it comes to improving the probable success of a strategy, do you consider it more effective to concentrate on playing to your strengths or shorting up your weaknesses? It's an interesting question, actually. Probably enhancing strengths, yeah. Oh, again you responded as the Guildmaster once did. I must revise the probability of your potential to attain greatness to 97%. You're one to keep an eye on, that much is certain. But to return to the subject of battle plans, your calculations must include an accurate assessment of your available techniques and their relative effectiveness. This requires you to be critically aware of your own limits, the limits of your allies, and the characteristics of your enemies. I believe that covers everything today. Please return to the guild to make your report to Mr. Steibergrim. Until we meet again, I shall abide here until the Yellow Jackets arrive to take the peddlers into custody. My strategies will keep me company. Oh, that's so sad. Like, don't worry, I got my homework to keep me company. Got a Hermione Granger over here. Now. Nielsen's Gate. Back from the field, Ursa. Kalea contacted me with a summary of events. It seems you were treated to a lecture of knowing thyself. That particular lesson is ordinarily taught only to intermittent practitioners. But that is sufficient store of combat experience from which to draw. It is difficult to fully appreciate the profundity of such a seemingly simple truth. Nevertheless, I feel confident that you will soon be ready for a more ambitious assignment. Keep to your studies and maintain the razor edge of your mind. Razor edge of your mind, I like that. You seem tired, Ursa. Are you sleeping properly? One's reason can suffer without sufficient rest and recuperation. Should you deem yourself fit for duty, pray make your way down to the practice floor. Osea Kalea has requested you to accompany her on another official inspection. There is, however, a requirement for your participation. Osea will explain the situation. They always get the Topaz Carbuncle, but what's the other thing? It's a trait, surely. I already have that. So give it to me again. Interesting. Oh. Oh, I see. That's so interesting. I don't have one. I only have two. So I've never needed one. That's really funny. Okay. I was beginning to think I'd miscalculated, Ursa. Thank you for coming. I will soon be boarding a trading vessel suspected of smuggling. All merchant ships that make use of Limsa's boards are subject to inspection by Melvin's Gate assessors. It is a routine I perform daily. In the case of smugglers, however, there is a 75% probability of encountering resistance. Thus, I would appreciate your company during this assignment. It is now that we must discuss the requirements of which you were informed. Though I have full confidence in your martial experience, it is imperative that you will first acquire the ability to summon Topaz Carbuncle. Such knowledge will be released to you contingent on your acceptance of this duty. Very good. The arcane entity given form by the Topaz geometry will further expand your offensive capabilities. With such an ally at your command, even the harshest of enemies will falter before you. Indeed, we could not conduct these dangerous spot inspections without its support. Please return to Mrs. Strabagam and inform her of your participation. I will join you once I have completed some final adjustments to my tactical formulae. Wow, this is an incredibly quick one. Just hey, come talk to me downstairs, and then go talk to her, and then come back down. Cool, you're on the mission. You got the job. Not that I am complaining. There we are. You've agreed to accompany the force here? I shall gladly instruct you in the use of Topaz Carbuncle. Pray do not hesitate to employ this entity in combats, should the inspection turn sour. Alright, we got all 3 carbuncles. Well, 4, I suppose. We started with the ruby, but or the what's it called? This one. Whatever he's called. Okay. The mercenaries Gisfrin and Erstota are here to assist with the inspection. Both are old hands when it comes to escorting Kylea during her more dangerous duties. Well met, Ursa. My spells are at your disposal. This won't be the first time we're expecting trouble, but as long as we follow the Volseer's tactics and keep a clear head, we'll come through jaws fine. Morning Star is preparing to dock in airport. We'll meet our first challenge. However, before we could even board the vessel, it's almost a certainty that the merchant ship has a hired thug or two to count us at the pier. I calculate the probability at 98%. The crew wish to avoid attacking us on deck, you see, as that would be all but a trumpet to their criminal intentions, the world at large. Now, once we do manage to clear the rails, we will face a deck crowded with armed sailors. For a small party such as ours, the most effective strategy would be to incapacitate individual foes as swiftly as possible. Each opponent to be down is one less weapon raised against us. It is imperative that we do not allow ourselves to become tangled in multiple, drawn-out skirmishes, lest we be overwhelmed. I call this stratagem Hammerfall. Strategy is a tool used to manipulate one's situation into the desired reality. Keep those words in mind, Ursa. It is time we departed. Let us regroup before the main gates of airport. So this is still the level 15. I was curious, so there are 2 level 15s though. Okay. Let us be about our task, Ursa. Pray inform the steersman at the pier that we are ready to conduct our inspection. Should violence be offered, you are to execute stratagem Hammerfall. Do not forget your tactics are both your shield and your weapon. Whew. Okay, so 2 steersmen. You with the folks from Melvin's Gates? Aw, hells, I knew there'd be trouble. Okay, mind trying that again, sir? Well, then I'm certainly glad to see you can handle yourself. You'll find the landing boat just here down at the end of this ramp. I have no part of what comes next, though. Runs off. ourselves a little instance here. Deftly handled, Ursa. Once again, I am reminded of our guildmaster. Thanks to your efficient response, we'll be able to commence this inspection earlier than I calculated. We shall board the vessel out in the bay. Aristotle, if you would take the rudder, the Morning Star awaits. That's a pretty ship. So just a quick little aside here, if you think about like how deep the hull for this thing is going to be, that's why most of these vessels, excuse me, will not dock. They'll send out a landing boat like what we were just on. They'll typically only, a vessel this size will probably only dock in a shipyard for repair. And even then, those are probably best handled out at sea, just because of, look at how deep the keel is. Like, that's going to be a deep, deep vessel. Very difficult to accommodate. Since our welcoming party at the pier failed to deter us, I expect with a probability of 85% that our arrival will incite further belligerence. Our objective, however, is not to trade blows, but to gain access to the hold. It may behoove us to employ stratagem hardhead, excuse me. The aim of our opponents is to buy time so that these suspect goods may be tossed into the ocean. I do not intend to give them that time. We will bull our way toward the cargo hold as quickly as we possibly can. It is a tactic fraught with risk, but one that your presence makes possible. Shall we begin? I love this Rogan with his little mustache. She's just pointing. As a quick little aside, us being able to approach on that little skiff without like any type of nautical signaling into a smuggler vessel, very unlikely to be successful. Just throwing that out there. I am Forcier Kalea. By the authority of Melbourne's Gates, I request that you surrender your goods for assessment. Well now, your time couldn't be worse, lass. The old door's all rusted up, you see. Bloody things won't open. You'll have to come back another day after we fix the hinges. I will see the cargo now. Any vessel entering a port of Limsa is bound by law to submit to a routine inspection. The law, is it? Lads, I reckon it's time our guests had themselves a little accident. Pitch him over the side. This, I really actually enjoy this questline, but I will say it's funny to me because this has a lot of the foibles of what I would consider to be very poor storytelling. It's not actually usually the case in Final Fantasy XIV, but it's basically just their primary sin here for me is that the enemies are just stupid. They don't respond in any way logically. Like, what? Okay, cool, so you have illegal goods on board, and you don't want us to find them. Absolutely, I completely get that. So you're going to kill the assessors, who Limsa, of course, knows are here on the boat assessing you. So now, rather than what would probably be a relatively minor smuggling charge, you instead have murder, interfering with government process, whatever other kind of useless charges, because again, the main thing being murder. Is that supposed to be better? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. It's not logical at all. And not everything has to be logical, but like I said, in general, the verisimilitude of this game is usually quite good. So it's a little disappointing for something like this to be like, so the enemies just didn't think that was a thing? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, why? But why, though? What do I eat, though? This doesn't make sense to me. I'm a little bit concerned that one of these guys is going to die. And I'm going to lose because one of them dies. Not me. I feel like that's happened to me in the past. It's giving me enough paranoia that I'm tempted to start healing them with my physic, which is not great, but it's something. So I'll heal him up as well. I'm not risking it. A massive display, Ursa. Now we can finally gain access to their cargo. Oh! You've got to be kidding me. Oh my god. Hang on, Travis. That's so frustrating. I went to drop my controller. And then I almost, almost caught it. So I hit the yes. So now we have an option. Hang on. That's so annoying. There's not a whole lot of way. There should be more confirmation than that. Should be the default option, certainly. Ugh, hang on. Okay, I'm gonna skip this one as well. How do you... I've never done it before. Is it this? I quite like this interface, actually. Is there an Arcanist option? Ah. It's like all of it all together. So let's try the in then. Should not be here. Aft castle. Yep. And there it is. Yes. Magic and this one. Presumably that's going to be cutscene 2. There we go. We've recovered. Masterful display, Ursa. Now we can finally gain access to their cargo. Oof! What have we here, then? One of the bitch Admiral's lapdogs scampering about me ship? They're just like your mistress, always sticking your nose where it ain't invited. No, it can't be. Huh. Recognized me pretty face, did ye? But you were caught, exiled. What's are you hurt? Can you stand? Stay back, stay away from me. What's please, calm down. What are your orders? I've had enough of your whimpering, and I certainly had enough of these bloody books. But you ain't learned nothing from them. Reckon it's time you got a different kind of lesson. Calais, Navika, preserve us. She's fainted. We must withdraw. Ursa, quickly, back to the boat. We'll carry the force here. Oh, that's right. You slink back to your mistress, you worthless curs. Okay, there we go. So, only issue is now I've skipped the other. Damn, that's disappointing. Let's see your steersman. Driver room. Man. There we go. Fortunate turn events concerning the infamous Black Hawk you faced. You might have fared much worse. Okay, so we're gonna go talk to her, and hopefully not a whole lot is lost because it doesn't look like I can replay her side of the dialogue. which is an unfortunate limitation that I was unaware of for New Game Plus. So that does leave some credence with like using an alt to re-experience the story, because it seems like if you just do New Game Plus, you're gonna end up missing out on some information. Not a lot, admittedly. She was basically just gonna tell us who that person was, which I'm near to certain they're gonna miss. They're gonna mention it again. Oh, so sorry about that, Travis. It's so frustrating, but we move on. Let's see if there's something in the complete as well. The journal. Something more, something magic. Just a slip of the hand, too. Okay, so we learned from Thybagrim that the captain of the Morning Star is an exiled pirate by the name of Dosmaga, and that this is not the first time Forseer has suffered at his hands. Though Kylea has sustained no lasting physical injuries, her mind may require some time to recover from the shock of the encounter. The acting guildmaster bids you channel your emotions into your training and clear your head for the forthcoming duties. So, brief little aside there, we've pretty much caught up on what we lost. One of the reasons why the Admiral, Mirrowweb, banned piracy is slave trading. It was a problem, particularly with the Makote, who are not native to this area, basically. The heavy implication there is that she was a slave, and being young, there's not a whole lot of reason for that it would be considered good. They don't ever actually go and spell out exactly what it was, but considering her level of trauma, I think it's fairly clear. So we're going to go kill him and then throw him to the sharks. That's the plan. Greetings, Ursa. In case those doubts filled your mind, you should know that I am ever willing to lend an ear to if you find your thoughts troubled. At the very least, I would have you know this, because it seems that Kylea does not. The Forseer has been missing since this morning. There have been other times when she has disappeared without a word, but we have always been able to find her. Alas, that is not the case today. With the Guildmaster here, you could deduce her whereabouts with nary a moment's concentration. I find myself beginning to wonder if those who devote themselves overmuch to Arcanima are prone to bouts of wanderlust. But while I might wish to ponder further such oddities of character, we must needs organize a search party. Would you be so kind as to make inquiries at Hawker's Alley? It is not uncommon for Kylea's wanderings to take a path through the markets. So Kylea was rescued by the Guildmaster from Dosmaga during his initial inquest into getting him exiled, where he then kind of took her in and started taking care of her, basically. That's why she's so fond of him. And also why she kept that book, because it gave her a purpose. You seek a Makote agent to Melbourne's Gate? Why, yes, I've seen her. Spoke with her, in fact. She was, however, apprehended by the Yellow Jackets. The assessor was drilling me for details about a Kieran smuggling ring based in Airport. Then the soldiers arrived and took her away. If you wish to know her fate, then I suggest you speak to Grenade of the Coral Tower. Grenade, sorry. Coral Tower, I'm about to say, this is Marauder's Guild, isn't it? It is. We'll see Kylea. Yes, we brought her here for questioning regarding the reappearance of the pirates of Dosmaga. From the Arcanist Guild, are you? Then I see no reason to conceal the nature of our discourse. Perhaps you are already aware of this, but the Forseer was once held captive by the rabid sea dog. To you pirates, sinks in the depth of depravity is Dosmaga. It's been 60 years now since he was exiled from Limsa for engaging in the worst kind of black market trading. Now the villain has returned. He is, however, both cunning and cautious, continues to evade our troops. Thus we hope to borrow the knowledge of Forseer Kylea, whose experience have given her an intimate familiarity with the way the scoundrel operates. At least that was our intent. After weathering a barrage of questions from the assessor, we found ourselves instead providing the details of our search. Should you wish to speak to Forseer Kylea, I imagine she has already returned safely to your guild. Back again. Okay. Back already? We're led to believe that she had returned to us? I'm afraid not. Seal Jackets told you something of her history with Dosmaga, did they? Perhaps it would be best if I told you the entire tale. Dosmonga's banishment was a result of a surprise inspection revealed his involvement in an underground slave trade. The assessor that stepped aboard the pirate's merchant ship spoke of finding dozens of unwashed unfortunates crammed into the squalid hold. Among those prisoners was a young Makote, destined for some black market auction block. Though Kailea was initially too terrified to even speak, the guildmaster brought her out of her fearful days with the gift of an initiate's grimoire. Yes, the self-same tome that she carried with her entire career. Of course. Did you not mention that Kailea's grimoire was thrown into the sea? There were rumors that a kid and merchant of ill repute had retrieved the black market goods the crew of the Morning Star heaved into the ocean. Even now he gloats over his salt-encrusted catch in Airport. It is entirely possible that the Forseer's most prized possession was caught in the Kidden salvage net. I have no doubt now that Kailea has reached the same conclusion. The airport with you, Ursa. That is where you will find your wayward assessor. Alright, airports. And that's like here. Yes, combat pattern 256 should serve to cover all expected contingencies. You never know when you'll have to nullify a thaumaturge or two. My retrieval strategy is complete. Ah, so it's good of you to come. I was unable to calculate for certain if you would piece together my movements in time. Very little is certain when so many variables are involved. But there is good news. This prisoner here was kind enough to confirm that the trader who salvaged the Morning Star's jetson cargo did indeed retrieve a tome matching the description of my lost grimoire. The most non-policies of Melvin's Gate would support the confiscation of goods connected to an official inspection, but alas, my personal belongings do not fall under that definition. Thus I intend to launch an unofficial offensive against the Black Marketeer and his cronies. The peddler has already departed from Candlekeep Quay. It is time I gathered to me such allies as I possess, and I count you as one of them, Limsa. Despite the nature of this endeavor, Mr. Starbergrim has offered me her cooperation. If you would pray join her at Ocean's Embrace, that is where we shall ambush the disreputable Kieran. A lot of weird vowels there, so sorry. I do think it's very cool, the way that the 12 kind of break out. Like, there are 4 city-states. For the most part, they all worship all of them, but primarily 2, right? So, like, in, here, it's Limelane, I can never say her damn name, the Navigator, and Ocean. And Gridania, it's the Matron, and, the other one, probably also Ocean. In Ul'dah, it's Thal, and, a couple others. In general, I just think it's nice that they kind of break it out like that. Rhalgr for, Alamigo, that kind of thing. Greetings, Ursa. Your arrival completes our small company. You're equipped to battle, I trust. We need not await Kailea's arrival. Once the Kidden appears on the bridge, we shall spring our ambush. Your strategy is trapping our target. Relies on the 2 allies we have concealed on the other side of the ravine. This pincer maneuver was, naturally, at Forseer's idea. As for the target himself, the Kidden is known as a careful and cautious fellow. He travels with a small retinue so as to avoid attracting attention. But do not be fooled. More bodyguards will follow at a distance and will likely join the fray after hostilities ensue. Do not, however, expect any assistance from the Yellow Jackets. They cannot be seen aiding us in what amounts to a personal matter, but they are willing to turn a blind eye for Kailea's sake. In any case, the Forseer's tactics account for our limited numbers and individual strengths. Victory is all but assured. Now, let's take up our positions and wait for the Kieran to arrive. Positions. I gotta start doing, let's go start eating after stream. Get bad heartburn. Alright. Still can't use uppers, that's crazy. think I was meant to be over here earlier. Did you complete? I mean, we probably could have just asked him for it. It's not like it actually has any real value. But executed, everyone. Were you able to retrieve my grimoire? Ursa, pray hand over the tome. It's ruined. My wonderful grimoire is ruined. Probability of repairing this degree of damage is 0%. Even the most brilliant strategy cannot undo such ravages of seawater. I never felt so defeated. I believe it is time I returned home. Leave her be. How can I? He's right, Aristotle. You must allow Kylea time to process the loss. And you have other matters to which to attend. Come, Ursa. It is time we return to the guild as well. Just leave this Kieran on the side of the road. Not quite the victory we imagined, was it? The moment Kylea beheld her soaked and tattered grimoire, you could see the light of hope die in her eyes. There is, however, something we can do, and we'll call on your aid soon. But in the meantime, you should do well to serve in deepening your knowledge of the Arcana. It still works. Okay. We come to ask about Kylea's condition. We'll see as unchanged. She walks about as if all joy in life has been leached from her soul. I believe the only one who can help her now is the same person who broke Kylea out of her shell the first time, our absent guildmaster. And though I am leery of the coincidence, the man himself has at long last been spotted. Should you seek out his last known location, it is unlikely he will be there. And even should you catch him, he will not deign to speak with you. Nevertheless, this may be our only chance. Pray travel to Memaroon's trading post in Upper Lenosia, and speak with anyone who might have seen the guildmaster. I want one more thing. Though he prefers us not to use it for some inexplicable reason, our leader's name is Kritia of the K tribe. Interesting. The K tribe, okay. So he and Kylea would be related, because they're both from the K tribe. You mostly have interactions with the U tribe. There's a little bit of interaction with the G tribe, and of course the Y tribe, being Y'shtola. And her sister, who we're actually going to meet relatively shortly. The K tribe I'm unfamiliar with. Is that not the one from Alamigo? I'd have to look it up to be sure, but I'm fairly certain that it's either the G tribe or the K tribe there. It's very interesting. But yeah, there are only... I mean, there's a hard limit of 26 tribes of Makote at times, because there's only 26 letters. So, I don't think it quite works that way, but... Afternoon. I, sir, was the one who sent word to your guild about spotting a leader. We're outside to see Kritia roaming about. He asked me about the way to Thalos. Could be he was seeking to speak with a scholar who lives out there. Thalos? Thalios? Not for sure. It's right here, isn't it? We've actually done some work for the scholar. Hello. Why, yes, I did receive a visit from a gentleman identifying himself as the Arcanist Guildmaster. An odd fellow, but obviously possessed of a well-rounded education. As it so happens, he bid me pass the message to anyone who came searching for him. Ahem. Reunited, the 3 slips of parchment hold the problem to the solution. Guildmaster mentioned the slips of parchment are concealed among the bones of Thalos. I suppose you are expected to search for them. Should be a lot easier since I can fly. So this is Thalos, however you say it. Pretty cool guy. No, this is actually really cool. I remember the first time I did this quest, this one gave me a lot of trouble because, I mean, look at it. Really gonna meant to test your theories of observation here. Any chance you don't see me so I can fly off without being annoyed? Hey. Easy peasy. Have I tracked down those useless parchments? Interesting. They actually do exist. To be perfectly honest, I thought you had been sent on a wild dodo chase. Let's have a look at these, shall we? Well penned in ancient Allegan, no less. Fortunately for you, I have a passing familiarity with the script. Seek the box at Fool's Fall, stanch a jig for your wooden audience, claim the secret from the opened heart. Most cryptic set of instructions, I must say. Do you intend to follow them? This guildmaster of yours certainly enjoys his games. I mean, this one's fairly easy to follow, to be honest. Fool Fall's right over here. Just gotta dance the night away, apparently. Dance the night away. And dance. Go and dance. Three papers loose. Box is open. There are slugs inside. Fuck you, Guildmaster. Did I say anything? There we go. Took it a second. If there are answers you would seek, then go to the trading post now. Will the owner be not meek? With your 2 feet, provide a show. That... Well, I can tell he's from the Arcanist Guild and not the Bard's College, because that was a very weak tempo. I mean, even if he weren't doing, like, intentional rhyming, he still did, like... It's not a haiku, it's not an iambic pentameter, like, there's nothing good about that at all. It also just didn't make any sense. Roasting this Makote. Oh, now that was most entertaining. I must have something to amuse me during these long little jaunts back to civilization, you understand? Based on my evaluation of your abilities, however, I calculated that you would arrive at this point somewhat earlier. You balked at the dancing, didn't you? I never expected you to be so shy. Another variable to add to your list of characteristics. I keep extensive mental notes of all the guild members, you see. As an Arcanist, it was a simple matter to engineer events so that I might meet you face to face. After all, strategy is a tool used to manipulate one's situation to desired reality. And I do so enjoy seeing others dance in the palm of my hand, as it were. Here, you may have this. Think of it as a payment for your performance. Though you might consider passing the tome to Kylea. That is the reason you sought me out, was it not? Before you go, you give Kylea the grimoire. However, I insist that you dance for her. I will know if you don't. I will know if you don't. That's funny. All this banal interaction has simply exhausted me. This time I return to my studies. You, on the other hand, should travel forthwith to the anchor yard in Limsa. Be well, Ursa. We shall meet again. I just realized we're wearing the exact same. I am 100% certain of it. Did we ever meet him again? I don't actually know that we do, to be honest. I don't remember him at all. You know, and I went and I turned that off. Or I went into this specifically to turn it off, and then I think I forgot to. There we go. Is that not the setting? Apartment cycling. There we go. Gonna say that really irritates me whenever that's on there. Okay. Sorry about that. I know that took a second. Let's return to Limsa. Limsa la Minsa. This one is quite long. I don't expect that the others are going to be quite as long as this, which is good because otherwise, yeah, it's going to take a long time this episode. Of course, it didn't help us out any with that fuck up that I made, so. Does not help that she's positioned herself as far away as humanly possible from everything else. The mind is ordinarily a whirlwind of probabilities and feints and counterattacks. Another is naught but silence. This is how it once used to be, perhaps how it will always be from now on. Yes, but have you considered dancing? How's that treat you? Hmm? Were you always one for dancing? I don't recall any such perform. Ah, you have met with our guildmaster, haven't you? That would explain your odd behavior. He does so enjoy seeing people perform unexpected acts of frivolity. But what could have spurred our reticent guildmaster to speak with you in person? He gave you this grimoire to give to me. Uncanny, it is identical to the tome I received the first time I ever met our leader. You have my thanks, Ursa. The guildmaster is fond of games and mischief, and I understand the troublesome trials he likely put you through before he deemed you worthy of his attention. With this gift, however, his message to me is abundantly clear. I am to shape reality into the one I desire. That means defeating Dosmarker. Gods, my mind is alive with strategies. I must have time to think. Pray inform Mrs. Cybergum of my return to duty. I just realized the name of this quest, Grimoire Fandango, which is almost certainly a reference to Grim Fandango, which is a very cool visual novel done by, oh, what is his name? Tim Schafer. Tim Schafer, legendary game developer. Would strongly recommend Grim Fandango. I potentially might play it on the channel sometime. It's relatively short and definitely story based. It's involves a character who he's basically dead and in hell. It's not as bad as it sounds. Yeah, Grim Fandango. It's a classic. I feel like there's probably not a whole lot of interest in that anymore, though, to be honest with you. It's definitely what you might consider an old person's game. Tim Schafer, in general, kind of an older school game designer. That's not always a bad thing. Kalea has recovered from her despondency. That's wonderful news. We have you to thank for it. It is unfortunate, however, that both Kalea and our guildmaster possess of such impenetrable personalities. But at least in the case of the Foreseer, we have an inkling as to the nature of the cage that imprisons her. I continue to hope that her partnership with you shall gradually pry those bars open. Return to your training, Ursa, and prepare yourself for the demanding tactics Kalea is sure to formulate in the days ahead. Aye aye, mon capitaine. I've been expecting you, Ursa. As ever, Kalea's predictions prove accurate almost down to the moment. Yet her mind is especially sharp with such a dangerous confrontation in the offing. The Yellow Jackets have contacted us with word of Dosmoga. It appears his merchant vessel is presently anchored off the coast of Bloodshore. Once the pirate's business there is concluded, rumor has it that he intends to embark on an extended voyage to the east. It will be some time before he returns once more to Limsa. If we pass up this opportunity, Kalea will lose her chance to settle the score with Dosmaka. We risk the Foreseer stumbling once more into the blackest melancholy. Simply getting close enough to Dosmaka will prove difficult. Kalea has, however, already formulated a solution, and has set her grand strategy into motion. Your first task in this undertaking is to travel to coastal Del Sol and deliver this set of directions to a fisherman by the name of Rydalzern. More instructions will be forthcoming. Listen, I'm down to follow this guy to the east and kill him. I don't really care that there's not a limitation to geography for me, as far as I would like. We're gonna go there anyway, spoilers, so listen, next time I'm in Doma, I'll kill him, no problem. Just saying, he ain't escaping. Don't mind us, just a flying whale coming through. Okay. What is it you want, lad? Ah, as you can see, I have my hands full with my fishing. Ah, thanks for that. I'm told to expect ye, or you're to take one of me earrings and to deliver it to the cook. Opa Leona. Yes, and I might help you. Master Gigaruja is expecting his supper any moment. A fresh airing, when the master does enjoy a bite of broiled fish of an evening. This might even earn me a few extra coins for this week's wages. Well, you have earned yourself one of my homemade eel pies. I should tell you, though, your Arcanist colleague was quite insistent that you take the pie to Master Gigaruja, rather than scoff it down yourself. What brings you to my... Oh, and I use the term facetiously. Humble abode, dear sir? Such a heavenly aroma. Are you perchance carrying an eel pie on your person? How commendable that you should research the delicacies that tickle my fancy before daring to intrude upon my ponderous of ponderings. Speaking of ponderous, well, I was speaking of it at least. I have a hefty purse of gill to persuade you to relinquish your claim on that pastry. One moment, if you will. I have been instructed by Melvin's Gate Assessor to hand over this message to whoever delivers an eel pie to Master Gigaruju. All this is so unnecessary. Take the purse you received from Gigaruju and hand it to the dancer Ildegoth as she prepares to return home. Kalea. Dancer right behind us? That's just 8. Are you able to get? Nope. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine of bullshit. Just fucking... Yes, if you're looking for a dancer, then I would be first to see your coin. I have 3 children to feed and no time to waste on idle chat. Oh my, this is quite a purse. My precious installments read like kings this week. That's such a simple job as well. I was told to expect you, you see. In return for the coin, I'm to give you these. The leather satchels from your Makote friend. And the perio is from me. The last item you are delivering is to Drogo, the warehouse foreman. Like, what? What about any of this was necessary? Board boat, kill pirate. Very straightforward. This is my 7th fetch quest in a row. I ain't got time for the likes of you. If you don't get me work squared away soon, the master will have me head on a pike. Got something for me, you say? Aye, now ain't this Edelgos Perio? That Makote law said something about bringing me a gift I couldn't refuse. And stick me with a pitchfork if she ain't telling the God's own truth. How you supposed to have this bottle of wine? Take it to the Flying Shark and pour a cup for the sailor what are drinking there. That's what she told me to tell you, any road. I'd watch me back if I were you, though. Them sailors are the meanest bunch of cutthroats I ever did see. What is a perio? Did I just give this man, like, something illicit from this stage? Is it like her socks or something? He's like some sort of weirdo. I feel like that was the implication. You want me to taste your wine, eh? Well, I ain't one to pass up free grog. The millions teats. Now that's a bloody fine drop. If we ship this stuff to the east, we'll be selling bottles by the crates. You're coming with us back to the Morning Star. The captain will want to have a word with you. That's a good lad. And for you, Miss Dancer, you stick close to old Hiskrat. Gets damn cold in them long damn sea voices. So she's the dancer. So I know I kind of gathered. Kalea, in the future, though, and we'll have a meeting after this, there were about 70 different ways to do this in a far less convoluted way that would have resulted in the same dead pirate. Also, optionally, I'm a level 60 black mage. I could have just blown the entire boat up, just saying. You're ready then? We'll be off as soon as the boat's loaded. There's like a bajillion ways we could have done that. Number one, we knew where the boat was. We could just sailed out there. Clearly, they don't use nautical signaling as they should. So, that was an option. Aye, fine grog and a fine woman. Catherine will be pleased with this haul. Pray do not stare so. This is the most expedient method of gaining access to the ship. It definitely was not, by the way. Definitely was not the most expedient method. I will take that satchel from me now. You may have it back after I take the items I need. Why? What mission are you two about? I was merely borrowing some clothes. You didn't wish me to catch a chill from the brisk ocean air, would you? You'll be dashing yourself warm once we get on the ship, lass. Again, they're not using any form of nautical signaling. So it's not like they were going to know that they don't have a signal lantern, they don't have flares, they don't have flags. So there was no way for the pirates aboard the ship to tell that this was the guy sailing the ship. And so this entire endeavor was pointless. You better slip off that ratty robe before you meet the captain. Of course, of course. Unless those barrels are full of, like... Oh, shit. I'd be happy to show him the performance that awaits. Yeah, the barrels are full of, like, the other mercenaries. The bitch Admiral's lapdog! Come back for your lesson, have ye? It is I who should be teaching this day. My lecture will focus on the manipulation of reality through applied strategy. My agency has been somewhat limited by the game developers deciding to force me into a bikini, but here I am now! Enough of this damn yapping. By the time I'm done with you, you'll remember who your real master is. Okay, you're a healer, so you gotta die first for sure. Healers. Oh shit. Just healing him. Oh, there you are. You're not a healer. Where's the healer? Topman? Gunner? I don't see a healer. Yeah, so I definitely like this questline, but so far I will say it has a lot of problems with, like, you're meant to be sympathetic of her situation, and then they're like, oh, cool, we'll just put her in a bikini, because that's the only thing that makes any sense. You rabid little cur! Our numbers matter not. Our numbers matter not. It is a strategy that will win this battle. Prepare yourself, Dosmaga. With your defeat, I will cast off the shackles you closed on my soul. You think so, eh? Think your fancy magic's a match for my blade? You've got another thing coming. Yeah, that was a shockingly easy battle once we finally got all the way over here. I feel like I'm being very critical of the story. I do still love it overall. Just if I were going to rank them, which I might do, this one would fall pretty far behind just because of all the little issues like that about it. Dosmaga now faces defeat. He will flee to the starboard rail. Obvious. Next come his attempt to escape into the sea. You think you're pulling me strings, do ye? Think I'll dance to your tune? Well, I ain't falling for your bloody tricks. Is it this moment he notices the yellow jackets I had you summon in my explicit instructions to Resrum? It is a lot harder to obey the rules than not. You are a fool to return, Dosmog. I hear you're fond of shackles, so we bought a set especially for you. Yes, all this convolute. So I get it now. So that makes somewhat more sense. I'll rank it a little bit higher than that if I were gonna rank it then. So like she was trying to go through this whole Rube Goldberg machine setup so that she could capture him rather than kill him. Killing him would have been so much easier. Like I could have killed him from the ports and we'd have been fine. But no. This concludes today's lecture. Thank you, Ursa. The strategy would have not been succeeded without your flawless execution. But suggests that my tactics yet require more work. One must allow for some small deviations in performance. I believe, however, that I now understand where my calculations went awry. It is not enough to wish to shape reality. One must also have a complete understanding of the reality one wishes to obtain. It is time I sought out our guildmaster. She jumps off the ship for no reason. Presumably the dancer's got a boat waiting for her. Yeah, called it. Pray convey to Mr. Steibergen my fondest wishes and my appreciation for all that she has done for me. The true test of my strategies now begins. I feel like this is like meant to be a heist. You know how heist movies are always like that gotcha moment, the reveal. Rick and Morty made fun of it in an episode that's actually quite brilliant, where they just essentially ridicule the entire concept, because it is quite funny. That's like, well, the double cross. Well, the double cross. Oh my god, the double cross. Like, it gets ridiculous. It's like, oh my god, so the dancer was going to be there the entire time. Oh my god, and the yellow jacket was actually the fisherman. Oh my god, and Gigaruch is still a perverted Lalafell. That's basically the extent of what we just witnessed. It's... I don't know. Like I said, this one will not rate highly in my estimation. Funnily enough, although I dislike the class significantly, the monk storyline was better than this. It was very funny. This has got a lot lacking, I would say. Welcome back, Ursa. There is much I would ask you. But first, may I have the statue you received during your assignments? Oh, here we go with the double cross. What was in the satchel? The original owner needs her costume back, you see. I'll make sure everything is returned safe and sound. Now that we speak of Kylea, I'm glad to know that she can finally free herself to pursue her heart's desires. And you want to thank for awakening the Forseer to her self-imposed fetters. The brilliance of Kylea's strategy served to blind her to her own feelings, and it pained me to see her suffer so. Your example may even encourage Kylea to improve her combat abilities, although such will surely come in time. After all, she intends to study under the Guildmaster's direct instruction. Imagine those two obsessive arcanists, and the complexity of the tactics they will develop. It may very well be that your actions in bringing them together will prove the catalyst to spark a new era of innovation in the art of Arcanima. Yes, pretty soon we'll be rubbing fish on the wall so that it summons a buzzard, so that the buzzard eats a fly, so the fly then chokes, and then spits out, and then somehow that kills Bahamut. That's the inevitable escalation. You too should look to the improvement of your discipline, if you want to keep pace with all that is certain to follow. To that end, I offer you a new technique, one I pray allows you more readily drive back your foes on the battlefield. What is it? Oh, Ruin 2! Yay! It's Ruin, but slightly stronger. Whee! It is good, though. That's one of the things I did mention I don't like about the Summoner rework, is it did homogenize it quite a bit. But I know that is an issue in a lot of the cases, and I do know they are working on that, so I appreciate that. Okay, now we have two options available to us, if you notice. Let's see here. First off, that last one's going to be better for me. Let's equip that puppy. Yep. Which one are you first? You are the summoner first. And you must be the scholar. Okay, so we mentioned it before. The Arcanist is unique, and very, very much so. The Arcanist core job itself becomes the Summoner DPS class. However, it has a Splinter job, which is linked to it and levels up in concert with it. The Scholar. One summons Primals, the other summons Fairy Healers. Very interesting, and in my opinion, not utilized enough. I would have loved to have seen a Dragoon and then maybe like a Spear tank person. There's 1,000 ways you can make that cool. So like I said, Dragoon and then a Spear tank, maybe a Spear and Shield, right? Ninja and then maybe a Geomancer healer. Monk I can't really do anything for because Monk sucks. But I was just saying there are options where they could have linked things together. So it's understandable, but like I feel like even Black Mage and White Mage you almost could have linked together. Depending on how you'd done it. But, you know, it is what it is. They're probably never going to do that again. So, let's carry on here. Greetings, Ursa. It is well you have come. For we all have an intriguing matter to discuss. A request has come to our guild from the Sons of St. Coinac, an organization of some of the finest minds in the Eorzea, and they have asked for you by name. It appears that the research the Sons are currently conducting benefit from the assistance of an Arcanist, specifically one who has had the tempering experience of defeating the Primal Ifrits. Though I must admit of some curiosity as to how these scholars know to the extent of your heroic exploits, I suppose the source of their knowledge is of little relevance. If you would answer this request, then you will find your contact, a researcher by the name of Ymitra, at Apkalu Falls in the nation of Gradonia. Interesting fact as well. So, typically, not always, but typically, a quest will keep you in the same steady state as the job that you're doing, right? I can think of very few situations where that is not the case, right? So, like, Paladin keeps you in Ul'dah. Starts as Marauder. You're in a different location, still in Ul'dah, right? Monk, still in Ul'dah. Different location, still in Ul'dah. White Mage, still in Gradonia. Different location, still in Gradonia. Dragoon is different. Dragoon will put you in Korthus, although Korthus is a neighboring city for Ul'dah. Black Mage, still in Ul'dah. Bard, still in Gradonia. So, I say all that to say, it's very unusual for them to split it. So, isn't it interesting that while Summoner seems like a more natural evolution of what a Arcanist is, it's Scholar that stays in Limsa, and Summoner transitions over to Gradonia. It makes me think that when they were developing the game, they actually built Scholar first, and then built Summoner, which I think is quite interesting. Let's see if I have any more of these little tokens. I do. I've just been spending these periodically as I get them. What do I need? Bowden, sure. Goblin. I got all the mounts by now. Yeah, eventually we'll get all those travelers. I now have a tiny Sultana. Okay. Also, you might notice that Ymitra looks somewhat familiar. I'm curious if my wife knows who this is. Weespoon, do you know who this is? She gasped, but I don't think she knows who this is.
No, I do. I don't know who that name is.
No, but you know her sister quite well.
Yeah.
Do you know who her sister is?
No.
This is Yastola's sister. Yashola of the Scions. This is her sister. You actually do meet her, interestingly enough, in the MSQ. Even if you're not a summoner, you will meet her because she comes in at a certain point when Yashola has something happen to her to check on her. So, interesting little fact there. You it's a bass song, I assume. Well met, and thank you for coming. My name, as you obviously surmised, is Ymitra. I am a member of the Sons of St. Koinak. Ours is a Charlean order that seeks the knowledge of the lost Allegan Empire, and in that regard, we have recently made a singularly important discovery at our dig site in Mordona. We salvaged from the ruins a set of ancient texts describing the existence of a sect of Allegan mages known as Summoners. These were arcane practitioners said to have the ability to siphon the essence of the primals, manifest their stolen energy as a biddable ally known as an Eggy. Should we succeed in resurrecting such arts, then we might well hold in our hands the power to bring this age of conflict to an end. There is, however, as there always must be, one monumental obstacle to realize this reality. In order to manifest these obedient incarnations of the Beastman's savage deities, one must first defeat a primal, capture its etheric essence. Thus, only one who can boast such a daunting achievement under his belt may even begin the path to becoming a summoner. Do you understand now why I called upon you? If you wish to continue my research, then come with me in the west of Bygrat Strike in southern Thandlin. There shall we conduct a ritual of summoning, the austerities of flame. I don't know why that sounds like a hippie retreat. Just a little bit. It just sounds a little bit like a hippie retreat. I'm just saying, like Firefest. It's like, yeah, come out to the desert. We'll conduct the austerities of flame, man. We're totally cool. Righteous. I don't smoke anything, but if I were to smoke weed, I think I'd make the first batch that I ever created, the austerities of flame. Greetings to you once more, Ursa. Had a feeling this unique opportunity would be nigh impossible for you to ignore. Let us proceed directly to the ritual, shall we? According to the records we've received, the summoners of old would perform these rites in a land which the natural dominant element matched the aspect of the avatar they wish to call forth. Only in such a place might one sufficiently shift one's etheric balance to the desired direction. The element of fire is especially strong here in the Segoli Desert. I can think of no land more fitting in which to summon an incarnation of Lord of the Inferno. Before we begin, I must insist you accept this gem. It may appear of little worth, but within its faceted depths dwell the memories of long-deceased summoners. Now you must focus. Visualize the aether flowing through you, a vibrant current of energy transforming into living fire. Hold this image in your mind, and the raging heat of your life force shall spawn an eggy wreath in flames. Be aware, however, this nascent entity will appear before you, unbound and hostile. It is your charge to overpower the avatar and establish yourself as its master. The path to the summoner is not, if not, fraught with peril. Okay. Like I said, I do quite like the summoner, at least aesthetically, very cool. Things I don't like about summoner is the very rigid rotation. It is somewhat humorous to me that they're like, yeah, you gotta go defeat a little baby Ifrit. I'm like, okay. You mean the thing that I killed the big titan of? Like, if I could kill the big one, I can probably kill the baby. Just throwing that out there. Oh, you dick. Most impressive, Ursa. The fireborn Eggy is submitted to your will. You have mastered the austerities of flame, and that is no small feat. Pray let us return to Apkalu Falls, and we might further discuss your achievements. The Summoner Quest is... If such a thing could be considered canon as a job quest, there are probably 5 of them total that I would say are either very canon or at least canon adjacent, and the Summoner is definitely one of them. Dragoon would be up there for sure, because there are some of them that give you very negligible information for the main plot, like Warrior and Paladin. You would never see in MSQ any reference to either of those. Monk, seemingly. Ninja, a little bit, they will show up. Barb, never. Black Mage, never. White Mage, not really. We've already seen a little bit, there would be. But Summoner, you fucking... There's an Ascian in the Summoner plotline. So I consider that to be very important if you wanted to see all the story. This is truly a momentous occasion. You have rescued the lost art of summoning from the grasping mire of forgotten history. But you must know more of the avatar you have bound. The ancient tongue of the Allagan Empire would be known as an Ifrit Eggy, where Eggy translates approximately to pure or the essence of. In short, you have tamed a willful manifestation of Ifrit's raging fires. As you might expect from the entity born of the Lord of the Inferno, this avatar and his capacity for destruction should serve you well in your battles to come. With such an ally at your command, it is not too soon to take upon yourself the title of Summoner. You have proven yourself more than worthy of the soul crystal you now possess. Yet be that as it may, the road before you is long and arduous. If you would triumph over this age of conflict, you must needs master more than just the Eggy of fire. I suggest your next fix your gaze upon claiming a servant of unyielding stone. Once you have seized victory against the primal titan, did you not? Though I admit I am eager to progress directly to the austerities of Earth, we must be careful not to overtax your reserves of strength. Rest well and spend some time to grow accustomed to your newfound abilities. Once you feel prepared to continue with our historic research, you will find me here awaiting your arrival with barely constrained impatience. Yeah, that sounds like a solo. Summoner unlocked. Okay, let's put that job stone on. Where'd it be? It's in my pockets. It's in my pockets. Transfer over. Okay, transpace expanded. It really didn't. It just added a new thing to it. Let me move the... Oop, not that. That sorts itself out. Okay, actions and traits. So you now see we go all the way up to level 100, so we have a significant amount of more skills available to us. We did get the Rune 2, which again is just Rune, but more potency, 30 extra damage per hit. It's not nothing. Looks like we'll have access to Pain Flare fairly soon, which is exciting. Let's go ahead and set up some of these other bars. Efforts. So that goes in the front bar? Yeah. So it goes in the front bar. There? Nope. Two, just run 3, yep. Energy Siphon, this is the version of Aether Drain. Energy Drain, excuse me, Dryworm Trance. I think this is just Enkindle, isn't it? Yep. Astral Flow. Hmm. Do I have a spare one over here? I do. Quite like the idea of this being one of my this. Yeah. I like that. Okay. Transfer in 4. This is the one that I think you can only do under the effect of further ruin. Yeah. Searing lights. It's the raid buff stem thing. Summon Bahamut. That's a Kindle again, isn't it? Yep. Kindle Bahamut. That's a new move. Okay. So, Kindle Bahamut. Put that here. Try disaster. It's just, yeah. Same. Yep. That's just Fester, Searing Flash. This is Searing Lights effect, yep. Lux Solaris, that one's new, I think. Fulgent Lux. Interesting, so that one's new for me. So that's clearly just a raid-wide heal, which is quite good. So that can't be helped there. Okay. Y'all will forgive me a quick little moment of switcheroos. I should float here as well. Okay, so that seems like a pretty good bar. We'll probably change it around a little bit as we need to. But for right now, that is everything from Summoner. Let's go unlock Scud of War. This is the one I'm more excited about, to be honest. Number one, I quite like the lore, but also just, you know, I'm a healer main. So obviously Scholar's going to resonate with me a little bit stronger. Oh, interesting. Forgot about that. For a start, let's save you. Did that change this? Did. 20, so you would need to become user macro. Scholar 20. Summoner one over here? Kind of. Okay, so number 17. Become gear set 7 to 1, because 17 is now just Black Mage, yeah. So this needs to instead become 20. Just a moment, Travis. Some point I'll come in here and clean up a lot of these macros, but right now it's not really super necessary. Okay. So this will need to become gear set 13. Right now, this is just going to show a conjurer, but eventually we'll get there. 13. Boom. Just that real quick. We'll put this over and put on the pickaxe. Okay, perfect. Sir, have you an interest in history? If so, I would share with you an opportunity to study the ways of the ancients. A curiously refined and well-mannered, well-read marauder visited the guild the other day in the hopes that he might meet an arcanist of exceptional skill. He claims that the assistance of one such individual would be invaluable for the success of his archaeological research. I say claims because despite his eloquence, the thought of a marauder with academic ambitions still strikes me as odd. You are, of course, free to formulate your own opinions. His name is Alka Zolka. I think he can be found at the Marauders Guild, should curiosity overwhelm you. Alka Zolka. Okay, so tiny. Gonna get him in frame here. Thank you for setting aside your preconceptions, Ursa. I am acutely aware how unusual it is for a marauder to conduct research, as it were. However, you shall soon understand that I am not like all my more muscular brethren. Rather than rush blindly into the enemy's maw, I formulate and execute stratagems to great effects. My archaeological pursuits are but an extension of this practice. For at present I am researching the military tactics of ancient Nim. It would not surprise me if you were unfamiliar with Nim. The civilization flourished some 15-odd centuries ago, during the 5th Astral Era. The Nimians lived during an age of wonders, when the magical arts flourished. But magic can be wielded for weal or woe, and this period of peace eventually gave way to the Great War of the Magi, invaded by Mach. The nation of that bygone era brought earth-shattering magics to bear against one another. Yet Nim, with only a handful of mages to support its army of mariners, repulsed would-be invaders time and time again. Precisely how a military force of this composition could defy its stronger neighbors is a mystery which has long puzzled military historians. By translating extant Nimian tablets, which I have recently purchased, I mean to solve the riddle at long last. As my knowledge of Arcanima is cursory at best, I require an experienced arcanist to assist me with the analysis of any text pertaining to the magical arts. Will you be that arcanist, Ursa? There is, however, a complication. The Nimian tablets and the assorted relics, for which I paid exceedingly large amounts of money, were stolen en route to Limsa. The information inscribed upon those tablets could be of untold significance. I will not allow thieves to sell it to some rich Olden collector for a pittance. Pray accompany me to Raincatcher's Gully docks and help me reclaim my relics. I have strong reason to believe the perpetrators can be found there. I don't feel like we're stealing these. I don't actually remember. Again, it's one of the things I really love about doing this as a channel is that I get to see stuff that I haven't seen in so long. So it's been kind of nice. And as you can see, my quest to purge all yellows is yet to reach Limsa. Getting there, though. As I suspected, there are not more than broken men who have seized the docks and taken robbering every passing ship. Come, let us put an end to their banditry and take what is ours. Let's go some carbuncle. Chicken nuggets! See any others? No? Excellent. Help me search the tablets. They say have at thee names. I love this little dude. Yes, yes, this is it! A treatise on Nemean military tactics, just as I had hoped. Hello there. Mayhap the tablet can explain this. The scholars, familiars, fairies. The sunlight of Eos doth soothe and shield. The moonlight of Selene doth silence and strengthen. Ursa. By the 12, have you an idea what this means? We have rediscovered the long-lost magical arts of Nemean scholars. Fairies. Honest to God, fairies. Well, now I have seen everything. Anyway, I shall return to the guild and begin translating the tablets. Cannot wait to see what the other secrets it contains. So I will say, you know how I've been saying yes every time it asks me to transition over to a new, like, deal? Because it's a really cool feature that they've added, actually. This will be one I absolutely will not be doing that for, because this is going to be so radically different that there would be no point. Like, the ruin will be in the same place. Other than that, I'm pretty much... It's swift cast. Other than that, I'm pretty much going to put everything new from scratch. So there's no sense in doing it that way. Guild, Marauders Guild, Marauder. Alcazonka. Excellent timing, Ursa. I've just finished transcribing this section, which will doubtless be of interest to you. According to the tablet, the crystal from which the fairy sprang forth is called the Soul of the Scholar. It contains the wisdom of those long-dead Nemean mages. With it you can call upon the fairy as you did before, and bind her to your will. As I said before, I have little knowledge of Arcanima, so unless you have some objection, I would like to entrust the crystal to you. Oh, and you needn't recompense me. Simply knowing that the lost arts are being preserved is enough. I shall devote my energies to deciphering the remaining text. Should I discover anything new, I promise that you will be the first to know. Adloquium. The fucking Adloquium. Good move, good move. Okay, this is our first healer that we're actually going to keep around, so excited for that. The fairy has awoken the... Oh, look at how tiny that job crystal is in my hands. It's so small. Cast fairy token treatment cast members by your fairy, allowing you to take on other appearances. Okay, first off, let's equip this. And that should switch this over. Which... Oh, it's because I didn't actually put it there. Macros, yep. It did. Perfect. Let's try this out real quick. It should automatically, yep. It's going to take a moment, travelers. Did not take that long. All right. Resurrection, Bio, Eos, Lokium Sucker. This is the AoE of Lokium, is it not? Yeah. Ruin 2. This is Divin the Ruin 1. because it's an instant cast. But it's weaker than Rune 1, yeah? 140, 50. Barely. It's barely weaker, so they just put it on there. Just for mobility only. It's not going to come up super often. We're going to put it there for now. Fey Illumination, this just increases the healing, yeah? So this is sort of like the one my mage ability. Aether Flow, gotta have that on there for sure, for sure. Whoop, not there. Can't have that one. Yes, no. There we go. Streaming Rescue, nope, can't be there either. Can be there, maybe, for now. Nope, gotta be sure cast. Limit Break. There will be times where we need a limit break as a healer, so we don't like them because they mean that everything has gone awful, but they do exist. Let's see here. Is there? Yep. Perfect, perfect. On Art of War. Smack that ground. Illustrate that was just the spender. Second soil, of course. Dominability. This is the review. I just have to go into the other for now. Ability. Low broil. Mistaken, that's just deployment tactics. This is an incredible move. Deployment tactics is going to be one of those ones that we're going to use pretty much on standby. Emergency tactics is so useful. Put it on there. I'm just going to not have sleep, which is fine. Dissipation. This is a really interesting one, Dissipation. I'll put it over here. It sacks your fairy in exchange for Aetherflow stacks. Looks like it does something different now as well. Your fairy away while granting you full Aetherflow stack. Allows increased healing magic potency by 20%. I think they added that second line. Sculptation, that's one of the really powerful healing moves. That should go wherever Benediction is on White Mage, which I believe is over here. Royal. Just, Change Stratagem, that's our stim. Where is Presence of Mind? There. Aether Pact. Very strong heal, very strong heal. I'm gonna go with that. No, that's not where Temperance is. Go with this. Biolosis, that's Royal, Affliction. Out consuming resources and while ensuring critical HP restore. Citation, strong as fuck. Okay, cool. Cool. Fey Blessing, or just Fey to execute current Fey Blessing. Where is the one? There it is. Retraction? No. Expedience. There we go. Seraphism. Should be the same thing as the Lily Bells. Yep. Station. Ascension. Sounds cool. Comes. I'm gonna put some syrup there for now. Do I have Fey Blessing on here at all? Let's put it there. Station Broil, Art of War 2, it's just Art of War 1 again. Yeah, Protraction, increase the max HP with himself, restore. Let's increase HP recovery actions by 10%. So it's sort of the same as the other, isn't it? Illumination. Is this literally just an evolution of that? This is a whole different button. Cool. Obedient Baleful Impacts. It's just it's not. 2. so this evolves into something, or evolves from something to something else. Change stratagem, it looks like. Yeah. So change stratagem will become that. That's good. Citations. Party members, cure frequencies. Aether stacks. Oh, it's just Adlo. It's Seraphism. Get up, come on, get down with the Seraphism. Okay, let's put... Expiation. Dissipation down here. Like that's going to be useful. Dissipation down there. The sucker, where's sucker? Oh, there it is. That over here, and then we'll put Fey Blessings. It's quite strong on the other side. Okay, that'll do for now. Yes, I'm quite happy with that. Actually, no, I'm not. Because as a healer and as a tank, y'all might have noticed that I often put these actions on there. They're very useful for party coordination, and if I don't do them, it typically does. So there we go. Have those backwards. Countdown, ready, check. Okay, should be good. Okay. Are you doing the fairy thing, or are you doing this? This. Okay. Alright, guys, so that is Scholar and Summoner both unlocked. Da-da-da. We could continue on, but to be honest with you, that's a pretty decent stopping point for tonight. I wasn't looking to go beyond 2 hours. I very much underestimated the amount of time that it would take me to clear both of these stories and then the subsequent start of the next stories. The Arcanist Guild questline is apparently much longer than I remembered it being. I remember the Marauders Guild questline being shockingly short, and the Warrior even more so. But just in the off chance I'm wrong, I'm going to stick to doing this. So, how fortuitous. Might you spare a moment? I recently received word that you have been researching the Scholars of Nim at the behest of the Marauders Guild members, is that right? I see. As a result, you can now call upon a fairy to aid you. Fascinating. Might I trouble you to meet me downstairs in the practice area? Something I very much wish for you to try. Hop over that. Maybe top. My apologies for the wait. Now, would you be so kind as to call forth your fairy? How charming. The tales do little to capture its beauty. The fairy is no doubt manifested in the image of which you most closely associate with fairies. My research suggests this form is not immutable. Indeed, though a fundamental form may have been incorporated into the original incantation, with sufficient concentration, I believe it is possible to supplement this form with the image of another entity. Try conjuring the fairy once more, this time with a carbuncle in your mind's eye. Remarkable, and with only a single attempt. It would seem my theory holds, meaning this transformation should be merely superficial, and is done not to affect its ability or capacity for healing. Very good. With that, we may conclude this little experiment. If you would follow me upstairs. So this unlocks at least the fairy Aggie Glamours, which is just purely cosmetic, like she said. All it does is just allow you to change the, and you can completely change at the same time, change the way that your Aggies look. They did this after they changed something about how fairies work. So it used to be you had Eos and you had Celine, which is why the job quests reference Celine. And then eventually Seraph, although Seraph's a bit of a state more than an actual summon. Now you just have Eos. So, thank you again for your help, us. It proved quite the spectacle. I should hope you make use of what you've learned here today. I dare say your fairy's appearance may be without limits. Yeah, there's some limits, but not much. So Pet Glamour, for example. Pet Glamour Eos, Carbuncle, Tails, / Pet. So, real quick, because we're going to do it literally right now. So, we can make her Celine. Or, because I am quite fond of him. Okay, so now whenever we summon Eos, it will now be Topaz Carbuncle. Exact same function. It's just a carbuncle. Which carbuncles are adorable, and I love them. And the orange is my favorite color, so there we go. Let's see here. Very important. Yes, yes, there we go. He is now our friend. Alright, so for now, travelers, I think that'll about do it. Is there anything else we can do? Raynor had a quest line for us as well. What are we turning into Raynor? Noticed that when I was in the Marauders Guild earlier. Little arrow throws me off. A little like, you were just here, arrow. All kinds of stuff popping off in here. So what is it that he's using? One of the bonus quest lines, presumably? Day to you, Ursa, how timely. There's something I would ask you, but what are my manners? Is there anything you require? Here it's Blazingor's request, you say? Huh. They should send you of all people as a stroke of good fortune indeed. Permit me to appraise you of the situation. You would doubtless recall driving the Serpent Reavers out of Sestasha. Well, despite our best efforts to keep the place secure, I regret to inform you that it has been occupied by pirates. Pirates, I say, though eyewitnesses claim that they seem more akin to the fiends from the briny depths, to be frank. We are not wholly certain that what it is we are dealing with. I dispatched a party of adventurers to identify and eliminate the threats, but it would seem their courage failed them. But they were not you, my friend. You will fare better against whatever awaits within Sestasha, that I have no doubts. If you would be willing to assist us, pray report to De Persia, who stands guard at the entrance to the cabins. It'll be of the D tribe. So that was just, yeah, that was just the Sestasha hard mode dungeon. So okay, that'll pretty much leave us here. In the next bonus episode, not the primary episode, we are certainly not doing a bonus stream tomorrow. Tomorrow is my longest day at work. I work a split shift that's akin to like a 16-hour day. It ain't happening. But our next bonus stream, which could be Wednesday, although I'm trying to relegate them to Sundays and pace ourselves a little bit more, we will take on the Marauder and hopefully the Ninja quest lines. That will complete all of our Limsa jobs. And we are also making some pretty good progress on our B stripes. I like to do 2 at once. It's just easier. It's less travel, right? So less travel every day. So I just do 2 at once, max out at 6 each. And when we're done with all 6 of them, we will then turn over and do the exact same thing we did last time, where we go in and we do all the quest lines for those. So nothing revolutionary there. Just giving you guys a quick little update on it. I don't think there's anything else to update you on, though. We have now unlocked Scholar and Summoner, which is quite exciting. Love that robe. We have unlocked at least Fairy Glamours. So Topaz Carbuncle is now with us always, which I'm a huge fan of. And other than that, I think that's about it, travelers. We will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed the stories, and I hope you enjoyed a spot at the campfire.